Hello Flosstube, my name is Laura and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown into. Today we have a special extra video that I'm going to do. If you watched my Friday update, one of the things that I had gotten in my shopping was in the mail. I got my Just Cross Stitch 2024 Christmas issue. So now it Just Cross Stitch magazine subscriptions, you get 6 issues, one of which is a Halloween and one of which is a Christmas. Now they used to call them the ornament issues, but I was reading the letter to the editor and it said that they're taking out that word ornament with the idea that while you have a ton of ornament ideas in here, there are other types of things, big pieces, little pieces, pillows, large framed items, a little bit of everything. And so they kind of want to encompass Christmas a little bit more there. So I thought we would do a flip through and go through all of the items here. Now, there's some that are very specifically Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, those may not work for you. But as we go through, I'm going to kind of highlight some that are not, that could be made non-Christmas holiday, so that if you do not celebrate Christmas, they could work for you and you could kind of change them up a little bit. So there are some fun options for you if you do not celebrate Christmas as well. Okay, so let's just dive right in. Now, the book itself, or the magazine, is broken up into what they're calling them as collections, 2024 collections. And the very first one is called Christmas Traditions. So that's what it looks like right there. And this section, in some cases, I got kind of a retro vibe with. One of them has actually got the word retro in the title. I don't know if you'll get that same feel, but that was definitely what I got a little bit. So this first one right here is called Merry Christmas, and it is designed by Judith Kringle of JLo X Stitch Boutique. Now, my notes are down here on my little table along with the magazine. A lot of times when I film, I'm able to have my notes up against my filming thing, but I have 2 pages of notes, so there's just no way I was able to do that this time because I have lots of thoughts, as usual on these magazines, and I want to share some of them with you. So this one definitely, I don't know, am I the only one that gets a retro vibe with this? I definitely do. They list it and show it as kind of like an ornament pillow, or a pillow ornament, I guess is a better way. You could make it a straight pillow, which would be cute if you had a dough bowl or any other place you put pillows. I could see it as an ornament, like more flat or a leaner. Also kind of, it would be a bit square. Although if you had a smaller tree, whether it's a tabletop or maybe like one of the Hirschner trees or anything like that, you could have this either as a leaner at the base, if it's tabletop, and depending on what the base looks like, I'm looking at my Hirschner's tree, which that would work. Or you could have it as kind of a tree topper as well. So there's a lot of different options you could do with this. If the vibe wasn't quite your vibe, you could change the fabric, maybe like a pale green, I would think, potentially on this one. Maybe change out the colors of the trees or the words. You could change those up and brighten them if you wanted to. I could also see what would be really neat, whatever color you wanted with the word Merry Christmas. If you wanted more of a long, narrow pillow, or again, some sort of topper on something, stitch just that part and finish it. And I think that would be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of ways you can use this piece. All right, next. This one right here is a sweet little piece. It's called Joy, and it is designed by Sissy Bailey Smith of Gentle Pursuit Designs. So it's a very simple piece. It's a 2x2, well, 2x2 on there, 40 count, 38 by 39. So essentially a square. So you could finish it in other shapes besides just the oval if you wanted to. And I could see this one being stitched on a very light green, sagey type of fabric. And you could, of course, change out, depending on what you used, the colors of the flosses. It's charted with a Versoix, but it does have DMC alternatives. So if you wanted to use your favorite DMCs, you could certainly do that. This next piece in the book is a 2 chart You get 2 for the price of 1 for the designer. And the designer is Julia Rosenberg of Cotton Pixels. I meant to put on my reading glasses and I didn't. So I might have to squint a little bit with some of these. It's called Harmony for the Holidays. And it kind of plays off the idea, you know how now there are several stitches out there where you stitch and then you kind of shape it into the design of the animal or whatever it happens to be. And that's what these two are. They're 2 different animals. First you have a bird. They're both stitched on white, and I probably myself would keep them on the white because I really like how they pop. But you certainly, if there was another idea you had. So you stitch, and when the design it shows you the outline part of a line that you don't stitch that part, but you stitch everything in, and you'll know where the edges are of your piece. And then you will have a piece of fabric for the back as well, and they give you full instructions on how to finish it. So the first one is a bird, and then the second one is a cat. Very sweet. Alrighty. Next one in this series, this one I mentioned when I said it would have the word retro in the title. This one's called Retro Christmas Delight, and it is designed by Elle Noonan of Stitch Sprout, and it most definitely has a fun little retro vibe. Now, it is full coverage. When they finished it, they did show some of the fabric. So you have an option here. If you wanted to finish it tight, it really doesn't matter what fabric you use color-wise because you're going to be not seeing any of that whatsoever on the stitch. If you wanted to, you could make a thoughtful decision. Now here they used just ivory, and that way, you know, they felt like it went well with the picture. If you wanted to pick out something and use a lighter, very light, pale version of that color, you could do that as well. This obviously could be a stand-up of some sort. It could be a pillow. It could be an ornament, lots of different options. You actually could too, like for example, say you wanted to take out the middle. It would be a little dark, but you could do both just the sides, or maybe you want to keep the middle with one of the sides, or you could kind of do it however you wanted in that sense, because they are all kind of little squares of items, and you could mix and match and move them around. So you have some, you have some kind of fun playroom there with this piece. The next one in this collection is called Christmas Joy, and it's designed by Frony Ritter of Frony Ritter Designs. And there's quite a bit you can do with this one. So they stitched it on perforated paper, and then they put it on wooden blocks. And I'm assuming, I didn't check all of the materials, but I'm assuming these are probably unfinished wooden blocks, and they were painted. Yes, craft paint. So you could do whatever color you wanted. If you wanted to do a light color of one of the other colors within the scheme, or you had a certain kind of color idea scheme in your head, you could certainly change out the color of the blocks. The other thing you can do, you could certainly stitch them on fabric. And I think it would be cute too if you finished JOY, if you wanted to make like a little banner with those and hang that from a small little wherever. I mean, they're small pieces, so it's not going to be this long banner, but maybe in the center of a mantle, you could have the words joy, and then you could put greenery on either side. So that could be an option. The other thing you could do, and in the magazine itself, it is charted, the pieces are charted as one long rectangle with 2 blocks between each of these blocks. You could stitch it like that and have it one piece, for example, on fabric, again, whatever fabric of your choice. So you would have to think about the blocks themselves are full coverage, but if you did that, you would have a little bit of color showing through. So pick something that would, kind of play off of these colors, and you could just have it as a regular piece. You could do a pillow, you could do any sort of options with it. They do give you design size. They tell you what the full design, it looks like 1 3/8 by 4 5/8. So there you go. Or you could, and that's with That's with, I assume, 14 count, because the full design is a 20 by 64. That's probably a better way to tell you that. So that way you could count it off whatever size fabric or perforated paper you wanted. But lots of different things you could do with this one. I could see really kind of a lot of different, you know, ideas with that. So that's kind of fun. I think this section, this is the last of the collection, and then we'll move to another collection. And I can show you this one because we have it here, and it is designed by Kathleen Burlew. To pick up those glasses for that. And this is called Poinsettias and Mistletoe. And I definitely, again, get a kind of a retro vibe. I think partly because of the fabric chosen. It's a lamb's wool color. So you could, again, if you wanted to have a kind of a color, I could even just see like a oatmeal if you wanted something a little bit different there, or you could do a light version of any of the Christmas colors. Now there are beads in this. There are some white beads in the corners here, and then gold right here. I could see if you didn't have or didn't want to get the beads, I think you could probably not even use those. And then the center, you could easily use your favorite gold metallic of choice. There wouldn't be a lot of stitches there, so I think it would work fine. If I had to look at it, yeah, I think you would do okay. If you wanted to kind of brighten up some of these reds and some of these greens, there's not a lot of colors, and I would just use the light, dark as my guide and kind of go from there, and you could just play off of that. So lots of different kind of ideas with that one that you could use if you wanted just to change it up a bit. The second section and the second collection is called Festive Trees. So this is what this section looks like. And the first one in that section, let me turn the page, is called Christmas Morning, and it is charted by Mr. Stitch and Mrs. Needle. And it is called Christmas Morning. So we have a sweet little tree right here. Now, the first thing I thought of course, is as a scrapbooker, I could see scrapbooking this piece and having it mixed with pictures from Christmas morning. The tree, whether you have pets or children or grandchildren or family members of any age, maybe with presents or just as a group or sitting around the tree in pajamas, or so many different kind of photo ops, and you could do a whole kind of page with that. I'm a big fan of mixing both your stitching and your family memories or your daily memories or whatever they happen to be into your scrapbooking. I think that becomes a real family heirloom because there is something of you in your craft as well as something for family members to remember with all the pictures. There is some back stitching on this one. It is not the most in the magazine, but there's a good amount, and I think it does help. It's not completely in your face. I think it's more helps to outline a lot of pieces. If I was doing this one, I might do in a very light color, but I could also see it being left just on the, I don't know if this is, it's ivory that they used for it. So there's that. I'm going to get my workout today because the iPad is heavier than the magazine. So we'll be holding up the iPad quite a bit. Okay, next. This one is called Holly Berry Sampler and is designed by Curious Carrie Designs. Now, what I thought was really neat about this one is this is the picture from the front page that shows the collections. And then when you flip through, they have a small little picture where the chart is. And I know any of you who have ever tried to take a picture of your items for Instagram or Facebook or wherever it happens to be, I don't know about you, but lighting can always change what my piece looks like. And in this case, that's what happened here. I first kind of really gave this one a look when it was the small little piece on the page with the pattern. And it has a very pink vibe on that picture versus here it's a bit more ivoryish or whitish or kind of a combination of those colors. Both are beautiful, but I really liked the pink, and I think to stitch this one, I would really lean into the pink, kind of not bright fluorescent in your face pink, but a nice rosy, subtle, blushy, blushy pink, I think would be the way I'd look at it. And very often red looks really quite nice on pink. Now it does say 2024. Obviously, if this isn't stitched this year, you could either do your own number or you could leave that off as well. I don't think that would be an issue. So there you go. That one is Holly Berry Sampler. Okay, next. Now the next page really leans into the idea of black work, and we have two different pieces that are all, I don't know if they call them black work per se. They do say backstitch, but I think that's what black work is, if I'm not mistaken. This first one is called Oh Christmas Tree, and it's designed by Sarah Louise Greer of Wickham Cottage. Now, I think what could be really cool about this one is you could make it totally monochromatic. So the tree itself is done in different colors, but if you wanted to, you could do it in one specific color if you wanted a theme. And I think in that sense, you could do it for different holidays if you really wanted to, or something else. If you wanted to make this more of a wintry sort of thing, you could stitch the tree in whatever color you wanted and then have snowflakes around it or things like that. So you could lean into that a little bit more. If you're really adventurous, you could use all metallics, whether you changed up the colors or you kept it one color of a tree. It's a lot of work, but it could be done. And it's being backstitched versus crossed, so maybe that would be a little bit easier. So there are some options with that one, and then depending on what you wanted to do and the color scheme would depend on what your fabric choice would be. Now the second one, this one is called Love and Joy and is designed by Amy Graff of Color Me Amy X Stitch. I'm not a huge fan of stitching on black myself, although I do use it once in a while. I could certainly see doing this one either on, instead of black, sometimes I'll do it in a navy blue or a blue of some sort. Again, you could lean into the winter vibe if you wanted to. Now, Love and Joy does kind of indicate Christmas to a certain degree, but you could change the words or you could do whatever you wanted in that sense. And again, I totally could see some sparkly here, especially with the star if you wanted to, in that sense. There are some really cool options that you could do with fabrics and flosses and however you wanted. You could probably throw in some fun beads here if you were a big fan of beading. And this one is a kind of a rectangle-ish, so if you weren't really comfortable with a circle finish, you could do it as a rectangle as well. So lots of options there. Alrighty, next one. Oh, here we go. I can show you this one. This one, very original. This one is called So Blessed, and this is designed by Leslie Davis of One of a Kind Heirlooms. So it takes into idea, you know, kind of the tree design. And so you have the stitched piece and we have it in the spool. And that really takes off of the spools themselves with the tree up top. I think another cute thing you could do, if you just want it as a decor piece for a craft room or wherever, just stitch this. How fun would that be? And depending on the size of the spool, you'd have to do, let me look at the pattern for a second here. So the pattern itself gives you that outline of what the piece, where the edges of the piece would be with the rectangle. So you'd have to finagle it a little bit, but you could do with just the spools, and you could do any colors you want to match something in a craft room or something along those lines. I think there's a lot you could do with that. So you could make that something that is a non-Christmas piece if you wanted to. Pretty easily, I think. And if you didn't want to do the tree design, you could certainly do a different shape. And that would work too. Okay. This next piece here, this is an example of how they talk about, obviously, your tree was completely different from an ornament. And here's a charted piece that's framed, is what I'm trying to say. And who's the designer on this? Christy Di Clemente of Christie's Corner Needlework. And so you have a very just lovely piece of trees and snow. And I don't know if you can see there, if you see the snow, it's in kind of a snowflake design with then snowflakes up here. So what could you do with this? You could easily use some sort of other fabric, color fabric, if you wanted, say, a blue background. And then you could either do a very light blue here so that these would show up, or a deeper blue if you did a light blue. Opal would be a lot of fun, I think, on this one. And you could kind of change up the colors depending on what you want to do with some fabric. But I do find it's very pretty how you've got all of the snowflakes designed within the snow here, and then you have some up there. And the designs of the trees are quite geometric. And you could even, if you needed some trees stitched or you wanted to do just a tree ornament, you could certainly do that as well. That could be an option. Okay, this one here is the next collection. I tried to do in my notes different colors of marker when I was doing the titles, but I messed up once or twice, so I don't quite trust myself with this. This 2024 collection is Here Comes Santa. So now we're going to do some Santa pieces. And this very first one, he's cute, is called Down the Chimney. And this is designed by Katarina, I'm going to just say V, because I'm not going to be able to pronounce the last name, of Stitchy Princess. And how sweet is this piece right here? I could easily see stitching it on a blue fabric, because this is clearly taking place outdoors. How cute would it be just to stitch Santa and the kind of the chimney that Santa's going in? If you wanted to do that on perforated paper rather than fabric, I think that would be cute. Whether you wanted to do it as some sort of stand-up or an ornament, and you didn't want the other pieces on either side. The other thing is those cardinals and snowflakes are quite sweet. So I would keep in mind if you wanted something on a different piece and you wanted some snowflakes, these could work for something else somewhere else. They are different designs. They're two different designs. But if you needed, sometimes, you're adding snowflakes to something, and it's always fun to have those extra designs available to you. So that is Down the Chimney. All right, next one. This is and might be the most backstitch heavy of the pieces, but it's a small piece, and it really does need it when you look at it. This is called Santa's Helper, and is designed by Free Stitch. Super cute. I think I would lean into maybe a gray fabric, a little bit grayer than what's stitched. No, this is antique white. Yeah, so I would probably lean maybe a lightly mottled gray would be a lot of fun. You could also do kind of not a super deep blue, but kind of a fun little deeper blue might be nice. There are some blends on this, as well as the back stitch. Now it is 65 by 63, so it is smaller, which means even though it is a little bit more intensive, it is small enough that it wouldn't be a huge undertaking if you're to take this project on. And it does make a very cute ornament. Okay. The next one here is called Wee Tiny 3. And these are designed by Knotted Tree Needle Art. And the first thing I thought of is little Pez Santas. You know the little Pez candy? That's exactly what it looks like to me. And what's interesting here with this one is the top Santas are all the same. So you have one of the Santas. Which one is it? The tree. This one is, the chart is completely there. And then the base of this one and the base of that one is there. And then you do the Santa face, same Santa face on all of them. I think these would also be super, super cute as, where am I here? Perforated paper. They could be stand-ups of some sort. If you wanted to stitch them, say for example on fabric, and then have a little tiny, you could do like, sometimes you know how with wedding place card holders, there's small little discs of wood. You could do that with a little dowel and have him coming out of that. Lots of different options that you could do with this one. They do make cute ornaments. They are 65 by 25. And in this case with the ornaments, you can lean into some fun fabric behind as well. But you have a lot of options and a lot of colors you could do these with, depending on what you wanted to do. The next Santa we have here, ooh, you even have the title on my picture. It's called Holly Jolly Santa, and it is designed by Linda Medina of Medina Originals. Now this one is done on it's called Prairie Grain is the fabric color. I would probably do Santa on a bluish. Deep enough that Santa's beard would pop, but I do think that would be really cute. And he would really pop on that. You could also do a deeper color, like a deeper green, because the only green is just in a little bit of the holly in the hat. There is some back stitch to kind of give Santa the whole look with the beard and the mustache and things like that, but it would be very quick back stitch. The design itself is 41 by 36, so it's a smaller piece. Okay, moving on. The next one, oh, actually I can show you here, is called Old Saint Nicholas, and it is designed by Laurie Fontaine of Lane et You. I'm going to go with that, even though I've probably mispronounced it. And again, we kind of have a really super cute, he seems almost retro-y vibe to me of the Santa here. And he's probably, what's he done here on fabric? It's blueberry, and I do actually really like the very faint blue fabric that was used for this. I could also see, you know how the different fabrics have either the dots, kind of like the petty point, or ones that actually have snowflakes on them that are printed and things like that. I could easily see a fabric like that and have the Santa stitched on that fabric. I think that would add a nice little background dimension to it. Okay, this next section here is the 2024 collection Home for the Holidays. So I believe in this section, it emphasizes different home pieces. There's more than just this, but I think these are the three that they show on this front page. And I decided with the first two, I am just going to show you the picture on the page rather than having to take a picture. This one's called Peaceful Path, and it is designed by Sunny Lofstrom of Three Tiny Owls. And so that's what it looks like right there. Now this one is full coverage, so it really wouldn't matter what fabric you stitched it on. And looking at that, that does not say Christmas necessarily, so this would certainly be an easy one that you could do if you wanted to stitch a non-Christmas piece. Home is universal, so I think that's quite lovely. And that would be a really lovely winter piece out if you wanted to have a piece out for the winter. This next one is more Christmassy. It is called Holiday Manor, and the design is by Pam Lewis of Praiseworthy Stitches. So here we have a reindeer and we have children playing, kind of a tree to the side. I believe the house is decorated. So there's definitely a vibe here with this. I probably, you do stitch the snow on the bottom. So I think I would do a blue fabric, something that signified outside to me. And you could even, rather than stitching, I don't know if that's a specialty stitch there. It might be. And it's hard to see on that. I could see also another one of those fabrics that had the snow, like it was snowing. I think that would be a lot of fun too. So you have some options with that as well. Now this next one, oh, it does have it has the pattern there. That's why I took. This is another one I think that could be a really sweet winter piece without saying Christmas. This is called Winter Village, a design by Kat Holen of Sprouting Lupine. And you could see here, it's houses, some pine trees, and some snowflakes. I tell you, what's really lovely about this piece is there's a lot of pieces with snowflakes, and they're, you know, larger in the sense of maybe like a 15 by 15 and some other sizes. So if you were looking to change some things in patterns wherever they are, this magazine would be a great resource for snowflakes. And I've done that before. Sometimes I've changed it and I just want to fill in with some extra snowflakes. And so it's fun to have those options. I could really see this one on an opal fabric. I think that would be really lovely. You could change the house colors. You could stitch maybe the snowflakes in a sparkly thread. There's a lot that you could do with this one. Okay, now the next one. We're still in the Christmas section, but it doesn't, it's another kind of, it's almost like another collection, but it's still part of the home collection. This one is called House of Christmas, but let me just see who the designer is. Nikki's Creations. So they have a sweet little piece right here. I definitely get kind of prim vibes with that. And you know me, I generally, sometimes I like to call it jazzy prim, where sometimes I will jazz up the colors just to brighten them up a little bit. So for me, I probably would change the colors a little bit. Now with the called for colors, I think the cream is quite pretty. And it shows the different pieces nicely. But you could certainly do some other colors. If I changed up, you know, some of the colors of the dresses, or if I changed up some of the greenery or the red, I could easily change up the fabric too. It all comes down to what colors look good on your fabric choices. So sometimes, in this case, I probably, if I was changing the colors of the piece, I would think about those first, and then I would go with my fabric choices. Next piece here, again, it's another piece that kind of celebrates home. And this is designed by Quaternion Creations, and it is called Nordic Ule. And I have to say, I really do, you know me, I'm very rarely, the called for color scheme does not always the one I use in any of my stitching. But this one, it really fits that Nordic vibe. Let me just see what it is. I should have written, oh, it's over here. It is Riviera Aqua linen from Witchelt. So it's a linen color, of course. So sometimes those are different, deeper or darker. I think what would also be fun is you could go with a nice, fun, deep aqua, which would be a little bit different than this one, or turquoise kind of thing. What I think that would be really neat is I could see stitching the ornament here and the bow. How cute would that be as a single little piece? I think that would be a lot of fun. Remember our little Nordic Santa? This color could be a lot of fun too, or that vibe that we saw a few pages back too. That might be a lot of fun. So if you had a piece of fabric, you could mix and match some of the pieces you stitched with it. But anything here that the white would really pop on would be really nice. And if you did change it too much, just make sure whatever color of the bow you used would be sweet. Okay. There's quite a bit in this magazine. The next section is called the Joy to the World 2024 collection. Excuse me. So that's our pieces there. And let me pull out my iPad again. This first piece is called Glory. And it is designed by My Big Toe Designs. Now it is charted with six different colors, but I could see easily doing it monochromatic, using one variegated thread if you wanted, or maybe stitching the words in one and the outlines in another. And depending on what color you used, you could play off that with your fabrics. So different types of options with that you could use. Next, we'll do this with the magazine. Show you this. This is called Lighting the Way, and it is designed by Elizabeth Spurlock of Saving Grace's Fine Needle Arts. So we have a sweet little angel. This is stitched on perforated paper. And obviously with the perforated paper, it's cut right to the edges. I could see stitching this on fabric and then, you know, making it an ornament that had the fabric showing. So any color fabric that you would like with this one would be sweet. The next one, now these are nice quick stitches. We're talking 24 by 33, both of these. I'm going to come up as close as I can. These are called Love and Peace, designed by Twisted Willow Designs. And I do think the blue is cute, although you certainly could do it on other options. I do think kind of with the outdoor vibe of these, it works. These would be very quick stitches. So would the little angel too. All right, this next one. This one is called One Child and is designed by Faith Work Designs. And I do like the deep blue. This is almost a denim looking piece. I could easily see maybe like a nice opal would be pretty. I think that would really kind of sparkle with it. That is a charm that they're using. And they do tell you where the charm is from and an item number. So if you wanted to use that one, you could. But I do like that kind of deep blue. I think, there might be a piece later on, if I remember, that had a very cool fabric color choice. And I think that would also work. I think. I was wrapping fabric earlier, so it always is possible that I might have just been wrapping a piece that I was thinking, oh, that would have been really good for this piece or whatever. And I've totally forgotten. Okay, there we go. This next one is it's 175 by 135. So it is a beautiful statement piece. And it is called Angel de Noel, designed by La Petite Croix de Lucie. And again, you know, every time we have this, I mistakenly say that. But how beautiful, how gorgeous is this piece? Any background fabric that really let the colors pop and shine. So you could certainly go with this kind of color scheme. You could make it a brighter one. You could go with blues or whatever, really any colors, maybe purples. I would suggest something though that had enough modeling that had light and dark. Do you see how the fabric is light and dark? And that really adds the dimension. And then the piece just pops and the angel pops on that. That would be my only recommendation if you were going to change the fabric choice there. They use Odyssey Ada by Rogue Stitching. And it does go quite nicely, but you certainly could do something else. There are some blends in this. Don't know if there's any. There's some back stitching. Doesn't look like there's any metallics though. French knots. This next piece here is Madonna and Child, and it is charted by Elizabeth Jenkins Batty. And it is a beautiful kind of stained glass look. Again, I would use something of more of a deeper blue, I think, as opposed to the black. For my eyes, you could certainly do a pretty gray. You could probably do any options like that. Now it is, let me see, for example, it is outlined, the outer edge, which is hard to see on the black. But if you had a fabric color that you really wanted to maybe highlight one of the colors, everything is outlined, so it would if you wanted somehow to have some sort of like a lighter one that kind of signified almost like the brightness behind the Madonna and the Child, this outline would all be darker. So it wouldn't, you would be able to tell the edges. So really just depending on the type of feel you want with that one. And no blends, nothing like that. There is some backstitch. And they do use a little bit of DMC Diamant on that. But you, of course, could probably use whatever your favorite would be on those. Alrighty. This next collection, let me see here. Nope, we're not at, oh, we have still got quite a bit to go here. This is the Kit at Heart 2024 collection. So there we go right there. And this first piece is called Polar Bear Wishes and is designed by Century Farm Stitching. This could easily be a non-Christmas stitch. Just take the words out. You could take the border out if you felt it was a bit too Christmassy, or you could change the colors and maybe match the scarf to the colors of the border. I think this would be fun on like a bright blue fabric, kind of the polar bears with the bright blue, but easily could be something that would be non-Christmas. Just a lot of white stitching. Be ready for that. Okay. This next piece here is very cute. It's called Be Merry, and it is designed by World on a String by Dara. And it is a cute little bumblebee with a Christmas hat on it. And this one right here, light blue, light green, any of those fabrics would work. If you wanted to change these into maybe like a more, if you wanted to lean into Christmas, you could make these more green if you wanted. But he is quite cute, the little chubby bumblebee. This next one I thought would be, you could take out the tree, for example, and this one again could be quite easily a non-Christmas piece if you don't stitch Christmas. It's called Holiday Honey Bunny and is designed by Amanda May from Artist Designs. A very sweet bunny. I do like the fabric choice, but you could certainly do it on a different color fabric, especially if you're taking out the tree and those items. If you wanted to make it a more of a spring piece, for example, you could certainly do that. I do like that color fabric though. That is kind of fun. That is it's a fairy dust mint green from Fabric Flair. Now this little guy, again, another super cutie that could easily be more winter rather than Christmas. This is stitched on perforated paper. And this is actually stitched separately and then placed on there. Easily just don't stitch the holly. You don't have to stitch the word. It's called Popper Penguin. Designed by Cindy Young of Luhu Stitches. You could even change the color if you wanted to lean more into winter and do it blues. And easily could be done on fabric. Again, like the polar bear, this could be a little collection, and this little penguin could be on kind of that bright blue, just like the polar bear is. And that would be a lot of fun if you wanted to do it on fabric instead of perforated paper. Now this next one here is Furry Friends gift tags. And these are designed by Patty Brake of 4 Boys and an NL Girl Designs. So here these are stitched on perforated paper, and then they are used as tags. Easily could not stitch the words, and you could stitch them on fabric, and you could keep them as ornaments or on the perforated paper, one or the other. I mean, you could even keep special Christmas delivery, do not open until Christmas. Those, you could keep the words if you wanted to and have them as ornaments. I've seen things like that as ornaments. So they don't have to be used as gift tags. If you are a pet family and you wanted to add these kind of ornaments to your tree, that would easily be done. Fabric or perforated paper. Okay. My page page doesn't want to turn. This next one here is called Jingle Bells and is designed by Nancy Greenberg of Pickle Barrel Designs. Super fun. I think what I would do here is I'd probably do a light colored fabric. Blues, greens, kind of pinks. There's lots of different options. Whatever option that plays off any of these colors, I think would be a lot of fun. And I think these lights, if you needed a border somewhere on something else, these lights would be really cute. I would keep them kind of in your back pocket as an idea for something along the way. Now this next collection here is the Let It Snow collection. So let me show you those pieces. And this is a fun collection that if you do not celebrate Christmas, you could easily embrace this collection right here. This first one is called Friendly Joy and is designed by Needle Bling Designs. Take out the word joy and you have a lovely, adorable little snowman with a bird on his nose, and that could easily be a winter piece. I like that color. I might lean into more of a brighter blue potentially, or stitch this one on a piece that has snowflakes around it. I think that would be a lot of fun too. So you could easily make that one non-Christmas if you don't celebrate. This next sweet little one celebrates snowmen and is not Christmassy at all. So this could hang up all winter. It's called Hello Snow and is designed by Jennifer Redmond. There is a fair amount of backstitch on this one. And yes, you would need it to kind of do out the outlines of the piece. But again, it's small, 63 by 63. So it should be it wouldn't be too big a deal for that. And I could see doing a light blue fabric on this one, or fun opal would be really pretty too. It does say it was stitched with opal, so they have the same idea. But, of course, sometimes when the pictures take the pictures, you don't see it. A light blue opal would be lovely, I think. And that would really shine. Now this next piece, this one here, it is finished as a stocking, but I could see so many things with this. It's called Snowflake Stocking, designed by M. Kissa Creations. And how cute is that? You could just have a field day with this. Colors of flosses, colors of fabrics. What I think would be really neat too, you don't want to stitch Christmas, or maybe you don't want to finish it as a stocking. What I would do is I would take the top border, the words Let It Snow, and then I would repeat that bottom border there. And how lovely a piece would that be as like a stander? I call them leaners. You could do a flat fold kind of thing. You could even frame it and have it out all winter as kind of a scene. So many options with this one right here. A lot of fun. And again, some more snowflake options for you if you wanted to look at snowflakes. Okay, this next one. Oh, this is a small one. So let me show you the iPad. This is called A Quiet Place, and it's designed by the Little Stitcher. And you can see here, it was stitched on kind of that petty point, natural. And I could see how cute it would be. Take out maybe this and this. You could have snowflakes around, or with the petty point, you really don't even need to. And just have it kind of like a hanging lovely bird house. You could put it on a lovely blue fabric, maybe a blue opal. And again, that would be almost like it's snowing outside. If you have different colors of the petty point or fabric with snowflakes, lots of different options there. And this is the piece, this is the blue I was thinking of. This is a Starry Night fabric from Witch's Garden Craft. It's called the North Wind and is designed by Witch's Garden Crafts. So there you go. And this one too makes no reference to the Christmas holidays, as far as I can tell. Cold and raw, the north wind doth blow, bleak in the morning, Early all the hills are covered with snow, and the winters now come fairly. Yeah, so this is definitely more of a winter piece. Look at that beautiful blue. Wouldn't that gorgeous angel, or wouldn't the angel look gorgeous on that? I think that would be beautiful. A lot of options could really work on that blue. But just pick a color that the white would all show up, and you would have a lovely piece right here. If you wanted to, you could certainly change out. If the bright houses weren't quite your jam, you could change them up and make them a little bit more subdued if you chose. Quite pretty. And I definitely think that angel would look beautiful on that. And that's the thing too. Maybe look at the magazine, get some ideas from the patterns if you're not sure about a color change on a fabric. Alrighty. The very last section is called Sweet Treats, and this is the collection right here. And this first piece is called Sweet Success. We've got our little gingerbread men decorating the tree and getting right to the top of the tree. How fun would this one be in a really cool teal or any jewel tone, to be honest with you? A nice purple or fun blue. Lots of different options you could do with this one. This was Harold Cashel linen from Picture Dish Plus. But you could, there's lots of choices you could do. So fun. Super cute. And that was designed by Jessie Schofield. Forgive me on that. I almost forgot to tell you the designer. All right, this next one, part of the pattern is showing, so I'm going to show you a picture. This is called Christmas Cupcake, and it is designed by Rona Nori of Tangled Threads and Things. So you are actually stitching the two different parts of the cupcake, and then you are putting it together. So you have the cupcake base that you stitched first, and then this is the top of the cupcake. And there are different beads that go on the top of the cupcake. Now, this one, how fun would this be on any kind of event? You could change the colors of the base if you wanted, maybe like, you know how cupcake liners come in all different colors? You could do different colors with that. And then the different colors of the beads, for example, you could do for different events, birthday parties or different holidays. Think of Halloween. How fun would that be? And if you were really adventurous, you could do a set of them and kind of have them all decorating on like a tablescape of some sort. Lots of options, not just Christmas on that one. This next one is the same thing. As the picture, it shows Christmas, but you could easily change out the colors and make it any holiday. And this is designed by Kim Beamish, and it's called Fa La Lollipops. So really, again, whatever color scheme you want, you're stitching this top section of the lollipop, and then you're adding kind of the little lollipop stick. So really, stitch it with any color scheme you want for any type of event or party. And these would be great for that. Lots of fun and lots of versatility with those. Okay. This next one, oh, no, I need the picture, the iPad for that. This one's a small one. Oh, no. I forgot to take a picture of it. Oh, gosh. All right, what I'm going to do, let me take a piece of cardstock here. I wrote it down, and I have the information on it, but I clearly forgot to take a picture. It is called Piggy P Jumper by Caroline Selden of Haystack Stitching. So let me come up very close. So it's a cute little jumper sweater, what I would say. Kind of little ornament sort of piece. You could do other fabric choices, kind of an idea of, well, this one here is stitched with perforated paper. But I think what I was saying when I meant other fabric choices is, this is all stitched, right? This could be a different color of the sweater embrace the ugly sweater idea. That's cute with the little hanger. Does that give? Miniature metal coat hanger. So yes, there is an option for that to tell you how to use it. And that would be cute, is like, then it's easy to put the hanger right on that. Okay, this very last design is actually got a little extra bonus with a bonus mini with the main piece. So this is designed by Tracy Richards of Wrought Iron Stitching. And we're embracing the tiered tray look. So we have the super cute tiered tray, and it has the different holiday items here. Now this one is finished with, you would buy these separately, of course. They are, you know, like little tiny metal cookie cutters that are hanging from the tiered tray. Could easily not have those if you chose not to. There is kind of a star up top. You could use any type of embellishment there, a charm. I've done sometimes felt, and there are some really fun felt colors and textures and ideas if you just wanted that up the top instead. You could try it even without anything. Yeah, and that would just be the top of your tiered tray. You don't even have to have a design up there. So that's the full piece. And then when you get the magazine, there's one side with the full piece, and then right next to it is this bonus stitch. And it is a tiny little piece of a small kind of tiered tray that could be used more for an ornament. And this stitch count is 50 by 50, so it is a smaller piece if you wanted to do a cute little piece quickly for the holidays, and you wanted to do an ornament versus the piece that's more of, say, something framed or finished on something or along those lines. And you could, with that, use any fabric color choice for this piece as well as the main piece. Just as long as your white pops, you're fine with whatever color scheme you really wanted to use. A fun turquoise again. I like kind of that turquoise look with the Christmassy items sometimes. And that is it. That is all of the pieces in this magazine. Do you have a favorite? Did you see some that you want to stitch right away? I have some ideas of thoughts of ones that I would love to stitch. Let me know. Let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed the flip through. And until next time, happy stitching.